Tonight on Cronkite News, today is National Voter Registration Day. Are you registered to vote? We have all the information you need to make sure your vote gets counted this November.
Plus, an update on a massive fire burning in the East Valley that had caused several communities to evacuate.
And a look into some exciting news announced at the 7th Annual NASCAR Championship Ignition Luncheon. Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Keith Hall.
And I'm Ann Perry. Thank you for joining us.
With the election just 7 weeks away, candidates are trying to sway undecided voters, especially Gen Z and millennials who can make the difference in this election.
Cronkite News reporter Marco Radice Morass was at an event held to help educate these voters.
More than 41 million Gen Z voters are eligible to vote in this year's election. More than 8 million are new eligible voters, according to Tufts University, and there's no shortage of events hoping to grab their attention and educate them about the issues. A coalition including the Delta Sigma Theta sorority and National Association of Black Journalists organised an event at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism with one objective in mind: help raise awareness of key issues impacting Gen Z and millennial voters.
The event today means to me just having the ability to spread awareness and civic engagement and voter awareness in my community, which is not necessarily acknowledged as much at the school that we're at.
The event featured seasoned professionals from the media, discussing topics such as disinformation and misinformation, including the use of AI in campaigns. Listeners appreciated the experience of the speakers.
To raise awareness and have panels of people who've kind of went through this process of what an election looks like, how to vote, things of that nature, it can give us all the tools and information to rightfully make our own decision.
Attendees also gathered in small groups to talk about the ballot issues, how to run for office, and how to stay informed. But many felt just discussing issues together was beneficial.
The hope is that the more we talk, that we can get a better understanding of each other and hopefully realize that we're really not as far apart on things as we might think.
One big focus of the event was the attempt to sway undecided voters from disinformation and misinformation, which is why organisers say events like these are crucial in educating voters.
Advocating for registration and voter awareness and civic engagement on social media, because social media is sort of clouded right now with a lot of other information, but making sure that we put this out there on social media, letting them know that there are events like this in real life that you can come to and talk to people who have really been in the voting game for a long time.
In a recent poll from US News, 65% of young adults in swing states like Arizona say they would support Harris. Those saying they would support Trump came in at 35%. In the newsroom, I'm Mark Radice Morass for Cronkite News.
Today is National Voter Registration Day, and with just 48 days left to go until the presidential election, the race is on to get people registered. Cronkite News reporter Ryan Pasesnik has more from the newsroom.
According to the U.S. Census Bureau, 3.4 million Arizonans cast a vote in the 2020 general election. And with this year's presidential election expected to be another close race, workers were out in full force today working to register new voters. According to the Arizona Secretary of State's office, there were more than 4 million registered voters in July's primary. 35% were registered Republicans, 30 were registered Democrats, and 33 were registered as other. Now all eyes are on the November election and Arizona. As it stands, Arizona is currently one of 7 states within the electorate that is labeled in the toss-up category. Today I spoke with several people who are working in downtown Phoenix, getting people registered to vote.
We've registered over 2,000 people in the office by itself. Some elections have been decided by less voters than that, so I mean definitely, we're making an impact just in the state of Arizona.
Being able to have your voice heard and be a part of the decisions that matter in America is extremely important. Every vote matters, everybody's voice matters.
The deadline to register to vote is October 7th, and the deadline to request a mail-in ballot is October 25th. All ballots must be mailed in by October 29th, or you can vote in person on November 5th. In the newsroom, Ryan Pasesnik, Cronkite News.
Today, the United States Senate voted against Senate Bill 4445 for the second time, a bill that would protect IVF. As Macy Markham tells us, the subject has become a hot topic in the 2024 election.
Senate Bill 4445 would provide a statutory right to fertility treatment access, more specifically in vitro fertilization, which is commonly known as IVF. The bill would overrule any state regulations blocking the access of IVF treatments. The Senate voted on the same bill in June, but did not get the 60 votes required to pass it after the majority of Republicans voted against it. The issue came into the spotlight when in February 2024, the Alabama Supreme Court ruled that embryos used in IVF are to be considered children, causing facilities to temporarily stop providing fertility treatments in the state. In June, Arizona Senator Mark Kelly opened up about his experience with IVF before the shooting of his wife, former Arizona Representative Gabby Giffords. The shooting happened just 2 days before Giffords had an appointment to begin pregnancy via IVF. Arizona Senators Mark Kelly and Kyrsten Sinema both voted in favor of the bill, though the bill was blocked, 51-49. Democrats are highlighting this vote as a consequence of the overturning of Roe in 2022, credited to Trump-appointed federal judges handing reproductive rights down to the states. In Washington, D.C., Macy Markham, Cronkite News.
Coming up next, every 2 seconds, someone needs blood.
When was the last time you donated blood?
We know that the rural hospitals, the ones that are away from the metro Phoenix area, are the ones that need blood just as much as the metro hospitals as well.
Today, the Red Cross and nonprofit officials are sharing the importance of donating blood. The initiative was created to encourage more blood donations.
Plus, cooler weather is making its way to the valley. What temps we can expect here and around the state coming up.
Two, one.
Coming up on the cut.
Coming up on the cut.
Coming up on the cut.
How students can build their broadcast journalism portfolio with opportunities to learn more about on-air reporting and studio production.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at @thecut_network and on X at @CutASU.
What Cronkite News means to me is opportunity.
We do news right at Cronkite News, serving a community ethically, honestly, and truthfully.
And we can provide a necessarily different angle, different voice for those people that really need it.
The students, they have a lot of passion for journalism.
I get to do a lot of stories about the Hispanic community.
And we have access to cover all of these sorts of events and get media coverage of all these different personalities and athletes, and that's just a huge thing.
But it's also a chance for people here to be humanized.
Individuals of all walks of life.
Cronkite News will help take the next generation of journalists onto their next careers.
I am old enough to remember Walter Cronkite.
We're putting a lot of pride on his name because we are practicing a lot of the things that he did.
I think he'd be smiling from ear to ear.
I.
We are Cronkite.
Welcome back. Today, both government and nonprofit officials met with the American Red Cross's Phoenix office and launched an initiative to highlight the importance of donating blood.
Cronkite News reporter Ignacio Ventura tells us how this initiative will make an impact on people's lives.
Every 2 seconds, someone across the United States is in need of blood donations, according to the American Red Cross. As for who needs blood supply, American Red Cross of Arizona and New Mexico CEO Edgar Olivo says the need extends to centers from outside the urban area.
We know that the rural hospitals, the ones that are away from the metro Phoenix area, are the ones that need blood just as much as the metro hospitals as well.
Los Donantes, or donors, is an initiative that takes inspiration from the Loteria card, a traditional Mexican board game similar to bingo. The donantes featured on the event's cards represents the winning card of blood donors capable of saving lives. The American Red Cross also says close to 60% of Latinos possess type O blood, which is often needed in emergency situations. Governor Katie Hobbs says donations outside of this blood type are still useful.
Even if you don't have type O blood, your donation is invaluable. So today I'm encouraging all of you celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month to consider doing so by making a blood donation and encouraging your friends and family to do so as well.
Despite efforts to encourage as many Latinos to donate blood, there still exist some obstacles preventing some from contributing. National Association of Hispanic Nurses President Ashley Merida points to some of these challenges.
I think a lot of Latinos have a lot of misinformation regarding the donation of blood. I've heard some people say that it can alter the DNA, it changes the DNA. I've heard people just say like they just really aren't interested, or maybe it's just the lack of time of getting to a blood drive.
Merida says Hispanic people are at risk of losing blood when undergoing liver transplantation. The American Red Cross says one donation can save more than one life. In Phoenix, Ignacio Ventura, Cronkite News.
If you want to donate blood with the American Red Cross, you can do so by visiting the organization's website at redcrossblood.org. Parts of coastal North Carolina were hit with a tropical storm-like system.
Some areas receiving 18 to 20 inches of rain in less than 24 hours. The flooding shut down schools and businesses and left many stranded. Roads were under 3 feet of water from flash flooding. The National Weather Service described the situation as life-threatening. Carolina Beach Town officials said there were at least 20 water rescues on Monday. At least a dozen people are at a shelter in the local Town Hall Rec Center or are staying at local hotels.
For more than a week, firefighters in Southern California have been battling the airport fire located east of Newport Beach. The fire has burned at least 120 homes, left several people hurt, and forced communities to evacuate. The fire has charred more than 23,000 acres and is 31% contained. The cause of the fire is still under investigation.
And back here in Arizona, the siphon fire burning in the Superstitious Mountains is now 32% contained. So far, it's burned more than 15,000 acres since it began last week. Evacuation orders are in place for people in Canyon Lakes and Tortilla Flat, and they have been lifted. When you walked outside this morning, you might have noticed it was a little bit cooler. Does this mean the triple-digit days are over?
Aiden Hansen joins us now from the Cronkite Weather Center with what we can expect.
Thanks, Ann. It was pretty nice this morning, and it's going to be pretty nice tonight. For your evening planner tonight at around 8 p.m. through 10 p.m., it's going to be 87 all the way down to 83 degrees. If you want to take a late night walk with your dog or whoever else you got, feel free to. And it's going to take us into our low temperatures for tomorrow. It's going to be 33 and 37. Chilling temperatures up in Grand Canyon and Flagstaff. If you got some blankets or some hot hands, I would use them. And then for in the valley, it's going to be 74 degrees in Phoenix. Not too bad. Pop a couple of windows. Don't have to run the AC all night, and it'll save you a couple of bucks. And for your high temperatures tomorrow, it's going to be 96 in the valley, 95 in Gila Bend. Make sure to stay hydrated, wear your sunscreen, and stay indoors if you need to. And for your high temperatures up in the high country, 69 in Flagstaff, 84 in Holbrook, so not too bad up there. If you want to go take a vacation, feel free to. And for the dog walking forecast, I want everybody to give a warm welcome to Bisbee. Bisbee is a dog of a dear friend of mine who just had a herniated disc in their back and had surgery and is recovering well. And the best time to walk your dogs tomorrow are going to be 8 a.m. through 10 p.m., mid-70s to the low 80s. It's going to be real nice. And for your 8-day forecast, it's going to be 96, 98, 95 for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's not too bad. And lows are going to dip right into the low 70s. And for the rest of the week, it's going to be 95 and 100 for football on Saturday and Sunday. And through the rest of the week, it's going to be high on 104 and 105 again. I want to thank everybody for joining. My name is Aiden Hansen. This was the Cronkite Weather Report.
If you're in the hunt for a job, we have some good news for you.
Major retailers like Target say they are looking for seasonal workers this holiday season. The retail giant says they are looking to hire 100,000 seasonal workers. These workers will support order pickup and drive up customers as well as stocking shelves. Job applications open up on September 25th. Coming up next, the Phoenix Mercury 2014 championship team reunited to celebrate the 10th anniversary of their WNBA championship win.
This was the first time the team has reunited since winning the championship in 2014. Our very own Ann Perry caught up with members of the title team. More on that after the break.
ASU's one and only student-run radio station, Blaze Radio, provides students with opportunities to cover a variety of topics. From music,
this is Sun City Garage,
to sports coverage,
against the Brewers in his last outing, he went
to news.
The bill also gives parents the ability to sue.
And entertainment updates. Blaze Radio offers a fun environment to gain valuable broadcast experience. To find out more, visit blazeradioonline.com.
Innovation at the Walter Cronkite School is pushing the boundaries of traditional journalism.
Storytelling has evolved over the years. This is part of that evolution.
Students in the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Lab are using emerging technology to create scenes in augmented and virtual reality, coding playable games, and bringing the audience into the story.
They're only limited by their imagination and their willingness to learn.
Find out more at cronkite.asu.edu.
Welcome to the Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Brady Hanson. The Arizona Cardinals dominated the LA Rams on Sunday in Glendale as Kyler Murray had a perfect passer rating, 3 touchdowns, and only 4 incompletions on the day.
Came out of the game pretty clean. So, like always, a couple of bumps and bruises, but pretty clean. So we'll see what it looks like on Wednesday. Kind of what we said after the game. I thought all 3 phases executed at a high level. A lot of guys made a lot of plays. Thought the plans were good, attention to detail. Had a good week of practice and played well. So.
Coming off last week's big comeback win over Texas State, ASU football will once again stand toe-to-toe with another tough Texas opponent. On Saturday, ASU football will be entering unfamiliar territory when they hit the road to face off against Texas Tech for the first Big 12 conference game in school history. Since moving on from the Pac-12 conference to the Big 12, ASU has gotten off to a 3-0 start. That's their first 3-0 start since the 2019 season. Despite the hype surrounding the game, for ASU quarterback Sam Leavitt, his focus remains the same.
Another opportunity this week to go out and, prove what we do. So I'm just super excited. I just view it as another game. After the game's over, we can go into all those things. But for right now, I'm just focused on our opponent.
The last time these two teams squared off against each other was back in 2017, where Texas Tech came away with the 52-45 win over the Sun Devils. Phoenix Raceway held their 7th annual NASCAR Championship Ignition Luncheon recently and announced some big news. The NASCAR Cup Series Championship race in November is sold out for the 7th straight year. Cronkite News reporter Duran Orr has more on this year's fundraising effort and anticipation for this year's race.
The NASCAR Luncheon, where speed meets the purpose. This year's event raised an impressive $100,000 for the Fighter Country Foundation, an organization that supports the brave men and women of the U.S. Air Force. But that's not the only thing the luncheon offered. They also shined a spotlight on the NASCAR Drive for Diversity program, which is dedicated to increasing diversity within the sport.
You have a great opportunity to represent your sport. You want to represent it well. Not only the sport, but yourself, and also at the same time. So I've always looked at it as it's not like work, or it doesn't really take my time out of my day, right? You're lucky to do it, to do this stuff and promote the series and the sport and get people pumped up for the show you want to put on.
In November, Phoenix Raceway will host the NASCAR Championship, and a lot of drivers are excited, as many seem to love the track and facility here in Arizona.
This racetrack's always a fun one to go to. Typically when we race in the day, I think in the nighttime it can get a little stagnant, kind of just on the bottom. But we'll see. I think I always love coming out here. The off the track stuff is a lot of fun. and hopefully it's a kind of a competitive race. I'm just excited to get back here.
With a sold crowd on hand, you can expect another exciting race where current champ Ryan Blaney will try to defend his title. In Avondale, Duran Noor, Cronkite News.
With October right around the corner, the Arizona Diamondbacks postseason tickets will be available for pre-order this Friday, September 20th at 9 a.m. Until then, the Diamondbacks are fighting for their right to party, with 4 more series remaining on the schedule. Yesterday evening, they faced the Colorado Rockies, and it was a thriller. Arizona quickly caught fire with their bats in the first inning and scored after Ketel Marte hit a 2-run bomb deep into the mountains. Colorado answered back and tied the game in the bottom of the 7th with a home run of their own. Finally, in heartbreaking fashion, the Rockies went on to win 3-2 off a throwing error, giving them the first of the 3-game series, leaving the Diamondbacks in must-win mode moving forward. The loss moves them even further behind the Padres in the National League wildcard standings, now 2.5 back of that top spot. They're losing ground to the Mets, who sit 1 game behind Arizona. The D-backs just try to hang on to 1 of the 3 spots up for grabs. Every game matters from here on out with October looming. The Phoenix Mercury are down to their last 2 regular season games. They face the Sparks tonight in LA before finishing at home on Thursday. The team is gearing up for a playoff run that they hope will end in a championship. It's been 10 years since their last title in 2014, and as Ann Perry reports, the Mercury recently hosted a reunion for that title team.
After Friday's game, the Phoenix Mercury celebrated their 2014 championship team. This is the first time the team reunited since the championship in September 2014, where they swept the Chicago Sky in 3 games. Currently in her 20th year in Phoenix, Diana Taurasi, who played on the championship squad, said that the 2014 team just came together at the right time.
We were all at a point in our careers where we were willing to do anything to win. We were desperate to win a championship, and it came together beautifully, really. It was just a fun team to play on.
Brittany Griner, also a member of the 2014 team, has been playing with Taurasi since 2013. Griner said that she has always valued Taurasi's leadership and the way the All-Star guard can see the game.
Like, when I first got here, she was already leading us, and I always called her the floor general out there on the court. She sees everything, the way she sees the game, the way she sees it from every position as well. Those little nuggets that she dropped, we always were just trying to soak them in.
Taurasi, the 6-time Olympic gold medalist, cherishes the friendships and camaraderie she had with her WNBA championship teammates.
There's always different things that can either get you to a championship or get you further. And that's why tonight is so special.
Rumors have swirled over whether this will be Taurasi's last season before retirement, but her work is far from done this season, as they head to the playoffs on their way to hopefully winning their 4th WNBA championship. In Phoenix, Ann Perry, Cronkite News.
The Mercury played their last regular season home game this Thursday against the Seattle Storm. The WNBA playoffs start on September 22nd. That's it for this edition of the Cronkite Sports Report. Back to Keith and Ann at the desk.
Coming up next, are there more benefits to caffeine than just the energy boost?
An observational study shows that drinking coffee may lead to improved cardiovascular health. Join us after the break to hear more about the added benefits of caffeine to your health.
Coming up on the cut.
Coming up on the cut.
Coming up on the cut.
How students can build their broadcast journalism portfolio with opportunities to learn more about on-air reporting and studio production.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at @thecut_network and on X @cutASU.
3, 2, 1. Cronkite News. Get real professional experience in areas such as reporting, broadcast editing, and behind-the-scenes production, such as technical director and audio.
Kill the mics.
Or go out in the field and cover important local stories.
Learn and master the English language.
In a fun, welcoming atmosphere. Cronkite News. The future starts now.
A new study shows that drinking coffee may be good for you.
That's right, a few cups a day can improve your heart health. Researchers of cardiometabolic multimorbidity, also known as CM, found that drinking 1 to 3 cups of coffee a day could help prevent the condition. CM occurs when someone has 2 underlying heart and metabolism-related conditions like high blood pressure, diabetes, and valve disease. Research of self-reported data from the UK Biobank found that moderate caffeine intake could reduce the likelihood of CM by 48%.
That's it for tonight's edition of Cronkite News. I'm Keith Hall.
And I'm Ann Perry. Thank you for joining us. And to see top Arizona stories anytime, log on to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.